Hello, this is Swad Walker, Associate Pastor of the Shrine of the Black Madonna in Houston, Texas. I have the honor of interviewing Reverend Ayana from Shrine 9 in Atlanta, Georgia. And if you don't mind, just go ahead and introduce yourself, Reverend.
All right, greetings everyone. I'm Reverend Ayana Madzimoyo of Shrine 9 in Atlanta, Georgia, as Pastor Swad has said. And I am the director of the West End Community Learning Center. We focus on preschool through kindergarten, first grade scholars. And I have been in that position for a number of years. If I tell you how many, I will be revealing my age, so we won't do that. But it has been my honor and my privilege to serve as the director of this African Center institution of learning for many years. And so that's my basic background in education. I've also worked throughout the church in our youth ministry in various capacities as a total house parent, youth group leader, program director, etc.
So you mentioned several institutions there. You talked about Total House, Akibaland, the West End Learning Center. Why do you think it's important for Black people to own and control our own educational institutions?
I don't think it's just important. I believe it is critical for us to own and control our own educational systems. For one, it gives us autonomy and that we can control the curriculum. We don't have to, we can be unbought and unbossed in that regard. And we don't have to have a curriculum dictated to us, which we know has been corrupted by enemy system. And so we get to say, we get to teach the true history of our people. We get to teach our children that our history did not begin during enslavement. And that is a critical component of African-centered education. If our children do not understand that our history, we have a long history, long before the Europeans emerged from the caves. If they don't have that knowledge, they don't have a true sense of who we are as the African. So that is very important. Also, self-identification. Enabling them to understand who we are as a people and who they are within that group. And then also purpose, what we have to do with that information, what we must do to be a self-determining people so that we can create leaders that will move us forward. And I emphasize move us forward because of course we can give them our ideas being from various generations. We can give them our understanding, but each generation must take that vision and expand upon that vision. So African-centered education is as vital today as it was in the past.
Unbought and unbossed. Thank you, Fundi Shirley Chisholm.
And that's my birthday twin, by the way.
Oh, go ahead. That makes so much sense. Oh my goodness. So you talked about how it is critical that we own and control these institutions. Can you speak to the challenges for Black children and Black people if we don't own and control those institutions?
Oh man, it's very damaging to our children when they are immersed in a system that does not honor them. And it doesn't mean you dishonor anybody else, but if they're not honored in their story and they're not taught their value, then that's just damaging to the psyche of a human being. And certainly of a child that is in formation stage. So that is critical. It's critical for us because again, it is a system with which we can grow leaders. And so if we don't have that, then we're just developing children. We're not even developing children. We're leaving our children to an enemy system to develop them. And of course, they're going to have the enemy system's ideology, the enemy system's way of doing things, the enemy system's framework. And, you know, what do we really have when that's going on?
Yeah. And my last question touches on a word that you've used several times already, critical. So in the news, there's been a whole lot of talk about critical race theory and attacks on it, really just attacks on Black education. So can you speak to the importance of us controlling our education in a way that pushes back against those who hate on our perspectives?
again, that takes us back to the issue of autonomy, owning and operating our system so we don't have to beg anybody else to teach the truth. That is pretty absurd that we would have to beg someone else to teach the truth. We should be self-determining so that we are in a position to teach the truth, regardless of what anybody else is doing. However, we do need to push back because many of our children are in a public school situation. And so we don't just turn them over and let them just learn any old thing. So we still have to push back against their pushback.
That makes perfect sense. And Reverend, I really appreciate you giving us your time and your insights. And God bless you for your work and your commitment.
Thank you so much. It has been an honor.
All righty. All righty.